great-great-grandparents, Aimee and Elizabeth Juke, resided in Saint-Omer among the hills of Switzerland near Bern. In the year of 1860, my great-great-grandfather died of typhoid fever, leaving the support of 4 of the 6 children to his wife. She engaged in the watchmaking industry and cleaned watches to provide for her family. One day, the LDS missionaries came, and Mother Juke readily accepted the gospel and was baptized. After that, her greatest desire was to go to Zion, or the center of the church. Every spare centime or penny was saved from her earnings with this in view. In June 1868, arrangements had been made to organize a company of saints in Liverpool to go to Zion. She thought this opportunity should not be allowed to pass. The older children were away from home or not interested in the gospel. Only the 2 youngest boys needed her care at this time. These conditions placed her in a position where she made the hardest decision of her life. There was enough money for 1 passage, so she decided to send her 11-year-old son Arnold to Zion to prepare the way for her and her youngest son, my great-grandfather Jules. She said that when the leaving came, she could scarcely bear the suffering of parting with her boy. She was fortified with the knowledge that he was a serious, responsible boy and would be in the care of priesthood leaders and other saints. When she had said the final goodbye to Arnold and the missionary of that town, she stood in their doorway and watched them crossing the fields as they started on their journey. Several times her boy stopped and waved to her, and it was with the greatest restraint that she kept herself from calling to him to return. But she remained strong and watched until they passed from view. She constantly prayed for her son's protection, and her prayers were answered. Considering the hazards of travel at that time, Arnold's journey was without mishap, and he eventually arrived in the Salt Lake Valley in September 1868. However, Arnold was in a strange town and alone, homesick and homeless, having no place to go, and for the time being deserted by his fellow travelers. He sat on the tongue of a wagon in the yard of the old tithing house. His few worldly possessions were beside him. A stranger by the name of Henry Reiser noticed him, and after hearing his story, invited Arnold to come and live with his family. Brother Reiser, who was a pioneer jeweler, employed Arnold, and he remained with the family for 3 years. At 14, he had saved enough money combined with his mother's savings to bring his mother and brother to the Salt Lake Valley.
How many of us in attendance today would be willing to send off one of our little ones halfway around the world, even with loved and trusted missionaries, with an eventual reunion so uncertain in its details? Nevertheless, we are all asked to do hard and difficult things within the context of our own specialized challenges. In large part, our capacity to achieve what we must is made possible because of the Savior's atonement and through the power of the priesthood, which is accessible to all of us. We don't know for sure how much Grandmother Juke knew or understood about the details of priesthood power, but we do know she had faith and understanding necessary to trust the priesthood and also realize the blessings that would accrue to her and her family.